First, I want to thank everyone for choosing to spend some time with us here this afternoon to learn a little bit more about Google Apps. I'm a little under the weather today, so I hope everyone can bear with me as we move forward. As we get started, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Google Apps, what it includes. After that, Leah Wright with SEIU Local668 is going to talk about how her local union is using Google Apps to improve performance. And then we'll move on to a live demonstration and follow that with a brief question and answer session. Okay, so what's included? So Google Apps really encompasses a number of different productivity and collaboration solutions. So the suite includes Gmail for Business, which covers 25 gigs of storage per user, and of course has great search functionality. So that means you'll never have to delete another email just to clear up space on your server. Google Docs and Drive, that covers documents and is similar to your Office suite. It supports over 25 different file types and allows you to store, edit, and share them all in the cloud. So you'll never have to worry about sending file attachments when you can just easily share them directly within Drive. Google Talk, it's just as easy to use as Gmail. It's the instant messaging and voice feature. It allows you to call anyone in the US and Canada for free directly from Gmail using the microphones or speakers on your device. And you can even send text messages to cell phones directly from Gmail. Groups and Calendar. Makes it really easy to manage distribution lists and share calendars both internally and externally. And Google Sites. It's a user-friendly tool that allows individual users and admins to create collaborative pages that can be used either externally as a public-facing website or commonly as an intranet solution that can only be seen by members of your local union. All right, so this slide's a great example of the constant improvement and innovation within the Google Apps platform. So when it launched in 2007, Google Apps was $50 per user per year, but it only included Mail, Calendar, and Docs. And if you fast forward to 2012, you can see how the offering has expanded while maintaining the same price point. And I think last year alone there were over 185 improvements, and of course the prices remained unchanged. All right, next slide, please. All right, so why go Google? I really feel that there are three primary advantages to making the switch. First, it's simple and affordable. So you're not going to have to spend time, money, and energy maintaining servers dedicated strictly to your email. You're not going to have to worry about hardware or software upgrades or dealing with security patches. And you always have the latest version, so you're not going to have to wait 3 years or what have you for the latest release. Two would be mobility. You're going to have the ability to access your data from anytime, anywhere, and on any device. So not only do you have the power of Google Search to find old emails from your cell phone, it goes beyond that. So if you have members who are, say, on the road or on location, they can access all their files, information, and more directly from their mobile device. And increased productivity. So with Google Apps, organizations can increase productivity through real-time collaboration in the cloud. Google Apps enables users to simultaneously edit, share, and collaborate on documents. And we'll show you an example of that once we actually get to the demo. All right, next slide. All right, so here's just a sample of some of the various organizations who've already made the switch to Google Apps. You can see it's a wide range covering many industries from the public sector and private sector alike. You have a large organizations such as Motorola and Genentech, down to mid-sized businesses and publishers like The Onion, for instance, and of course academics and nonprofits. I think 2/3 of the top 100 schools and universities, according to U.S. News and World Report, are already using Google Apps. All right, so next, Leah Wright with Local668 was kind enough to join us for today's webinar, and she is going to talk briefly about how their experience has been moving to Google Apps and some of the benefits they've seen.
Hi, thanks so much, Dan, and thanks for having me. I'm really excited to talk about our experience, and hopefully it will help those of you out there who are trying to make a decision if Google Apps is right for you. So to give you a little bit of background of who I am and my organization, again, my name is Leah Wright. I'm the Communications Director for SEIU Local668. We're a labor organization in Pennsylvania. We represent about 20,000 public employees who work in state, county, and municipal governments. We have about 55 staff members, and those staff members work all across the state. So we just don't have one office that we're headquartered out of, but rather 13 different office locations. So when we talk about collaboration, that was really important for us when we made a decision to move to Google Apps. As I said, I'm the communications director, and when I came on board, I was given the great task of finding us a new email provider. We don't have a tech department at our local, and like many other smaller organizations, staff members wear a lot of hats. So it was also important for us to find something that had easy usability, not only for the front end, but also for the back end. So someone like myself who doesn't know all the jargon and didn't know how to do a migration was able to easily implement this new system. So we made the migration to Google Apps about 2 years ago. Prior to that, for over a decade, our local used AOL Mail. And I laugh because the screen even came up with the AOL song that came on, and you got mail, and I felt like I had been transported back to my junior high years when I started. And also we had at AOL addresses. We didn't have our own domain name. So it became fairly evident that we needed to make a change. In addition, AOL, like many other email providers, in my opinion, didn't make an investment into evolving their services to their clients and wasn't very business friendly. And so that was important when we started looking at other email providers. Also, we experienced numerous email outages, which, you know, is devastating in a business environment, and also many security threats where people hacked into the email addresses. So those were the things in the forefront of our mind of when we started looking around. And Google Apps actually came to us because our international union used Google Apps, and so that's what started us down that path. And we were then recommended Dido through a very glowing recommendation, and the partnership has been wonderful ever since. Google Apps itself is very user-friendly, but when it came to making the migration, I needed a bit of assistance because we didn't have a tech department, so that's where Dido became helpful. Not only did they do that and help us along that process, they also provided our organization webinars and trainings for our staff members so that they could feel comfortable with the Google Apps platform. Basically, the reason why we made a decision to go with Google Apps was because of the numerous benefits that we saw with it and that we continue to see with it, and I just wanted to talk about some of those. First and foremost, probably for most of you, is the dollar signs and what it's going to cost you. And we found that Google Apps was the most cost-effective mechanism to go through. Dan had mentioned that there's no software that you have to update every year and that the cost itself was minimal per user. Also, we found that it has top-notch security. During our time, we haven't experienced any security threats. There's a great filter that goes into spam. And also, we receive notifications if someone is trying to get into your account. On my personal Google Apps account, I got notification that someone was trying to access my account in Paris and asked me to change my password. So that was very helpful. Also, Google Apps is easily accessible anywhere. On the previous email platform that I used at my previous job, the accessibility of email was very difficult, and so you had to download something special to access it on your home computer or on your devices, and we were very limited to the devices that we could use. That has also helped with securing cost savings, because people can use any device that they choose, an iPad, iPhone, a Droid, BlackBerry, and they can access their Google Apps, their email. Also, one thing that I think is super important about Google Apps, especially for my organization, because we have individuals that are very tech savvy, and then we have individuals who barely know how to access and open their emails. So I find that Google Apps is super easy to customize, and so you can take full advantage of all the amazing things that Google Apps offers, or you can just use it minimally, but it's still not overbearing for people that don't have a lot of experience when it comes to tech applications. I find in Google Mail that the conversation mode, which threads your email, so if I'm sending an email about lunch tomorrow, rather than getting 5 new emails in my inbox, they all thread together so it can easily read the conversation quickly, which also saves time and efficiency. Also, Google Labs, and Dan might talk about Labs, but Labs is an area where you can try out new features to your Google Apps, but I find that this is important because I had said earlier that I find that a lot of email providers don't make an investment into moving their platform forward, and that is completely the opposite of Google Apps. Google Apps is constantly evolving and trying new things, and allows the customer to try the things out themselves and then make reviews on those features, of whether or not they work or not, and then allows them to use them or not. Also, something small that I find helpful in my line of work, because I may be communicating with somebody for months on end on a project and never be able to see their face, their picture next to their email, I'm able to make a connection with that person because I feel like I get to know them better. Also, the labels function is like folders, and the labels function is super easy to use and enables you to organize your email. Also a chat function so that you can easily chat right on email, and then also Google Groups is really helpful when trying to make listservs. The other really great thing about Google Apps is the collaboration, which I had referenced earlier. Since we have 13 offices across the state, the collaboration component was very important to us, because what it enables us to do is to put documents out onto the cloud, and us able to access them and collaborate in real time. So if I put a budget document out on the cloud, someone in my Philadelphia office could modify that document, and I can see those changes in real time, rather than sending 10 different versions of a document into my inbox and cluttering it up. Also, reliability. We've never had any issue with Google Apps as far as it lapsing out, and so that's super important to us. And then from my perspective, since I'm sort of in charge of maintaining our email system, it's very easy to maintain. So easy I can do it, right? So I can add users and take users away and modify accounts and keep an eye on them, and it really doesn't take me that long to do. An added benefit for us, as I referenced earlier, there's a lot of continuity with the email system because our international uses it, but also so do a lot of our members, and so we're able to use the same features with them because they're on the same platform. And then I had referenced this before, but I don't want to understate it, that Google Apps is constantly evolving and trying new technology, so that we'll always be on the cutting edge of what works in businesses and a business environment to help save money. So with that, I'll hand it back to Dan, but overall our experience has been wonderful and instrumental in helping move our organization forward when it comes to using all the functions of Google Apps. So I thank you for your time.
All right, thanks, Leah. So now we will move on to an actual demonstration, so you'll be able to see how some of these things we've discussed actually work in real time. And Matthew McLaughlin is one of our trainers here at Dido, and he will walk you through a brief demo showing how some of the various components of Google Apps work.
Hey, thanks a lot, Dan. I appreciate the intro there. And Leah, great. Thank you again so much for speaking so highly of Google Apps and Dido and our services. We really do appreciate that. You mentioned a lot of really, really great features about Google Apps, and I am going to show you some of those features here today that Leah and her organization are actually effectively using day in and day out. So, you know, hopefully you'll have the same type of excitement about Google Apps as Leah does after you're done seeing some of these things. We hope so. And again, after you see a lot of these items, we're going to have a Q&A session at the end if you'd like to see additional stuff, or if you have any questions after the session, please feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to answer any further questions. So really want to start with Mail here and talk a little bit about the accessibility and kind of piggyback on a lot of things that Leah had stated here just a moment ago. Accessibility is one of the key things that most organizations are finding about Google Apps. And when I say accessibility, what I mean there is that essentially all of this, all of your data, all of your mail, your calendar, contacts, any documents that you've created, any sites that are available to you, can all be viewed anywhere you have an internet connection and from any device. And I know Leah mentioned that, especially with people using their own devices, they're comfortable using that device, they know how to get around on it, and they know how to access data that way. So the accessibility is extremely helpful with organizations that are dispersed and organizations that are not dispersed. You know, you might have one focal office, one focused office, but you know, if somebody has to work from home someday or something like that, you know that you have the ability to access everything that you own anywhere you have an internet connection. So that's key there. Also, one of the main things I also like to mention there is the fact that Google Apps offers 25 gigabytes of data storage for email. And if you think about it, 25 gigabytes is a whole lot of space. In my personal Gmail account, or my Google Apps account for DidoWeb.com, I have about 40 to 43,000 emails in there, and I'm only using 13% of my total 25 gigabyte storage there. And I actually still do delete emails. I mean, I think it's a natural human thing. I know Dan mentioned this earlier about not having to delete. You know, it's just a natural human factor there. But if there are a couple of emails that you're just not sure if you ever want to get rid of, you don't have to worry about that because you could just archive it, and you have the 25 gigabytes of space to work with there. So that's a really big feature that we have there. Let's talk a little bit about efficient communication using chat. I know that Leah mentioned that here. So what I want to do is I just want to minimize this real quick here. So hang tight 1 second. And I'm going to come back into my inbox right here. And what you see, here we are, is this one right here. What you see is this is basically what an inbox will look like in Gmail. And you notice in the bottom left-hand corner, there is a chat window here. Now, there is a lab, like Leah also mentioned, called Right Side Chat, which will move this chat bar over to the right-hand side, which kind of gives you more of a streamlined feel to your inbox. You'll have your labels over here. You have all of your messages here, and then you have the chat window on the right-hand side. But for right now, it's located on this left-hand side. So notice how I've added people to my chat list. Over time, if you communicate heavily with people, you back and forth emails a lot, Google will automatically add them to your chat list if they're a Google Apps user or just a personal Gmail user, because they see that you're communicating a lot and they say, hey, we can make this a lot easier and more efficient for you. Let's add them to your chat list and you guys can chat here. So I just want to give you a quick demo. I have Megan right here on my chat list. You see that she's actually read. She has the ability to show that she's read, which means she's busy. Users have the ability to actually set their statuses, which I think is really nice because if you notice here, if you click on that drop-down area, you have the ability to set yourself as available, busy, or you can even go invisible as well. Again, we talked about accessibility. Well, let's say you just, on Saturday morning, you've got to get some work done, and you log in from home, and you don't want to be bothered. You can go invisible in your chat window and still be in your inbox and continue working there. So you don't you can kind of hide yourself if you don't want to be bothered that way, yet still get things done at home. So that's a nice feature. You can add custom messages right here as well, giving yourself the available notice or not available here. We have different ones that you can choose from. And then also you can change your picture. One of those things I'm going to show you here in just a little bit, as Leah mentioned, is very key because if you are a dispersed distributed workforce, or you're working with people that are in your organization just in different offices, and you don't get to see a lot of each other, having a picture there really gives you some sort of a connection to that person, and I'll show you a little bit more in detail where you'll see that. So I just want to send Megan a quick chat, and I want to show you how easy it is to do this. If you hover your name, hover your mouse over her name, a little index card comes up with her information here. I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and what you'll notice here on the bottom, towards the bottom right-hand side of the screen here, we have the ability to begin this chat session. So I can just say hello to her real quick. She'll be notified of this chat. In a moment here, she'll say Megan is typing. We're just communicating very, very quickly here. We can send links back and forth. We can really talk about important information via chat. That also could be communicated via email, but if you need it to be done efficiently, chat is the way to go because these chats are actually recorded. So if you needed to reference some of these items, they're there for you to reference later on the line, just like you would in email. And if you look here in the More section, More gives you additional options for this chat. If you don't want a portion of your conversation recorded, you can always go off the record, which is nice if you're talking about maybe your boss's surprise birthday party or something there. You can always go off the record. Okay, but I like the fact that this chat is quick and efficient. Now, other ways to chat, you can do a voice calling chat, as Dan mentioned before. You can call them and chat back and forth with the voice over IP there. And then we also have Google Hangouts that are available to us here. This is the other option. We could start a group chat, and we could physically be able to see each other, and then also be able to communicate that way. So real quick, my computer, this screen does not have a camera here, and this is just a quick intro of what we have here. I'm calling Megan. This is what a Google Plus Hangout looks like. It's really quick and easy to chat with people here. And Megan is joining the demo here. You'll see in just a second. You can hang out with up to 9 people at one time, which is nice. You can have a nice little remote meeting here. And there's half of Megan's face there. But this is a nice thing that we can do here. Really, really easy to collaborate this way and communicate. It looks like we've been timed out there, so I'm just going to close that out. But you saw briefly what that looks like here, and you can see easily how you can quickly and easily send invitations to people so that you can hang out that way. Okay. One of the other items in Mail that I want to point out is the conversation threading that Leah mentioned. This is one thing that she found works very well for SEIU 668 there. So what conversation threading is that it groups emails together within one conversation due to the same subject. So if you'll notice here towards the bottom of our screen here, there's a conversation between myself and Courtney. And if you actually hover your mouse over her name, what you can see there's a picture of Courtney, which gives you, again, that connection, which helps you communicate with somebody a little bit easier. So again, that's why it's very nice to have that picture there, and you can always set that picture up in the general settings. I am not a very photogenic person, so I've given you this beautiful sunset from the island of Antigua. So trust me, it's much better than looking at me all day long. So if you go ahead and open up this email right here, I want you to notice the number 4 next to our names there. That's how many emails are associated with this subject line, which is right here, this TPS Reports due. So let me go ahead and click on that. And here again is the subject line. Here are the individual emails per this conversation. As you can see, I'm hovering over each one of the individual emails. Now, the original email is at the top because we read left to right, top to bottom there. So that's a great way to catch up on the conversation. If you haven't received an email in regards to the TPS reports being due recently, you can always come back and find out what you all discussed in previous conversations by expanding the conversation. And over here is how you can do that. You can simply click on this icon right here, and it will expand the whole conversation. So here's the original information, or the original email that I sent to Courtney here. Have you had a chance to polish up those TPS reports? And we have conversation has begun. Now, even though it was done back in April 8th, if I wanted to come back and make sure that she's actually finished them, I can. And it can still be, however many months later, this conversation will still be there. And even if you were to rehash this conversation, Courtney would have a chance to follow up on what we had spoken about before, because she would also see this conversation all grouped together. So again, I really like this because the way that we look for emails is, searching in Gmail. And when you search for emails, you use the search bar here. Let me show you how easy it is to find these emails. I can select from Courtney at didaweb.com. As you see, the email address has appeared to the autocomplete here. And if I click on that, within seconds, it appears here, and here are the TPS reports email dues. So again, having the conversations grouped together is key, and then searching for them makes it easier, because if these weren't grouped together, I'd have to search for that one particular email that maybe would have had that information. In this case, I'm just searching for that one particular conversation that contains that email. So it really minimizes my search time. So it's a very key feature. If you don't like it, it can be turned off, but trust me, after using it, you're going to want to continue to use it. It's a great feature. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about labels real quick. Leah mentioned that labels were affected for her organization, and I think they are for everybody. Labels are folders. They really kind of do the same thing as folders did, and that what a folder does is it basically stores emails that you need to have stored in. So let me show you how quickly and easy it is to create a label. When you decide to go Google, we do a migration, your data will be migrated over, and that also includes any of the folders that you have. In this case, we have just one right now. It's called Tuesday Emails, but you may have multiple folders in your legacy system. Not to worry, again, we'll migrate those over, and they will be in the form of labels here. But if you needed to create an extra label, as when you've done the transition, you needed to create one, it's super easy. Just come to the More tab here, select Create New Label, and we'll do a Labels demo label. You can also nest this under a label, and essentially what that means is that allows you to kind of create sub-labels here. So let me go ahead and do that. I'll put that under Tuesday Emails, and you'll notice under Tuesday Emails I now have the sub-label, which is very nice, and you can actually put sub-labels under the sub-labels. So as projects come up, or the way that everybody's got their own method to organizing. It could be madness. Whatever you have there, it'll all work out for you, because you can segregate your labels here effectively for projects or personal items as well. Let me go ahead and create one more label. I'm going to make this one Google Apps. And I'm not going to nest this one. I'm going to make it its own label. So now I have these three labels that are here. Notice the Tuesday Emails has the blue color. Well, I like that because if you'll notice here, these emails that actually are in this label have been tagged with this label, and they're easy for you to see when they're in your inbox. So let me show you real quickly. If you click on the drop-down menu, when you're hovering your mouse over that label here, you can give it a color, which allows it to stand out a little bit more here. And we'll give the labels demo a green color here. Now, typically we're used to taking an email and storing it into a label. That can still be done. Minimize this. That can still be done here if you were to select a message right here, and then you were to choose the option to move to. When you select an email message, you get a a number of options available to you above the message of what to do. You can archive it, which will essentially remove it from the inbox and have it placed in all mail here. All mail is a central repository for all messages. You can mark it as spam, or you can delete the message by adding it to the trash can. Here you have the ability to move this message to a label, or you can just simply tag the label and have it remain in your inbox. So in this case, I'm actually going to have this email message moved to a label. I am going to choose the labels demo, which is under Tuesday labels. I'm going to move that over there. So when I click on the labels demo here, you'll notice that that email message is in the label, and it's no longer in my inbox. So it's really easy to move messages to the label. Now that's a standard way which we're all very, very used to. What I like to say, what I like to demonstrate here is how if there are messages that are in your inbox, maybe, typically when a message comes into your inbox, you want to take an action on it, whether it's to reply to the message or store it in a folder or get back to it in a certain period of time. But essentially items that come in your inbox you want to react to, right? So let's say you can't really get to this email just yet, but you need to get, you want to make sure that it's stored away or properly filed away in an actual file without removing it from the inbox. So a way to do that is to actually tag the messages with labels. And you can simply take this label, which is Google Apps here, and drag and drop it over to the message. Now, what I've done is I've essentially placed this email right here in this label without actually removing it from the inbox. So if I click on Google Apps here, you'll see that that email message is right here. I'm going to go back to my inbox. Maybe that email message has something to do with something else as well. For instance, this labels demo. Not to worry, I'll go ahead and tag that message with that label. The best part about this is this message is essentially now in 3 places. It's in my inbox, it's in my labels demo label, and it's also in my Google Apps label. And you'll notice here, inbox is a label in Google Apps, and it's also in my inbox. So before, you had to basically say, this email belongs here in this folder. Well, with Google Apps, you have the ability to put that email in multiple places for easy access. So you don't always have to remember where that one email is. And then again, we showed you earlier with the power of search, makes everything super, super easy to find. Highly recommend taking advantage of this feature. It's a great way to organize your data. Okay. And lastly, with mail here, I want to touch on labs. Leah had mentioned labs for us, and she uses them day in and day out, I assume here. So to actually access your labs, come over here to your labs. Pardon me. Come over here to your settings, and then you can come over here to settings. Your labs will be a tab here under the general settings page here. Click on labs. And what labs are these little extra features that really increase efficiency and provide you with additional items that aren't typically available by default. And a couple of those items that I really like to point out that I would recommend you all coming in here and checking out if you decide to do a test drive here with Google Apps. Some of the neat things that are available to us in here are inserting images into email messages. You can, in your chat list, have a green robot, which will indicate whether that person is mobile or not if they're on their chat list here. A couple other cool things you can do is put the pictures in chat, referring to what Leah said. She likes to have that connection with somebody. You can do that by putting their picture, making it available in the chat list. I like this one here for those that are coming off an Outlook platform. This Preview Pane Lab, let me give you a quick demonstration of that, allows you to give the familiar feel of the Outlook inbox. So we highly recommend enabling that lab and demoing that here. And again, here's the right side chat. So I'll enable those two, and we'll come down to the bottom. We'll hit Save Changes here. When you enable these labs, your inbox refreshes here. You'll notice that my chat bar has been migrated over to the right-hand side, which is great because now I'm able to quickly see all my labels, my inbox, and my chat list. And then also I enabled the preview pane, which is now located here once you enable that lab. If you click on that, here's what we have available to us here. It gives us that preview pane look. And if I select an email right here, you'll notice that it's been selected and it's being displayed over here. So that gives the person the familiar feel of Outlook. If that's something that may be holding people back, they'll be able to have that same comfortable feel there. Okay? All right, excellent here. The next thing that I want to touch on with you here is actually going to be groups here. We talked about groups really quickly with Leah there, and I want to just mention how easy it is to create a group on the admin side as well as how people can access them if user-managed groups are available. It makes sharing very easy as well. And then we'll finish up with some real-time collaboration. Okay? So let me go ahead and exit this here, and what I'll do is I'll go to my inbox here, and I'm going to pull up a different account because this is an administrative account that we have here. This is our, as you can see, it's admin. What I can do is from the admin console, you can actually access your admin console directly from your inbox by clicking on that gear and going to the Manage page. Once you do that, a new tab will open in your browser and you're brought directly to the admin control panel. Again, this is just a quick preview of what this looks like, but for an admin, it's nice to be able to see here. And if you want to create these listservs, these distribution lists, it's very, very, very easy to do so. Come here to the Groups tab. As you can see, we have a bunch of groups created already. These are distribution lists. But it's so easy to create a new one here. If you go to create a new group, you can name this one Chapter 2. I know that the labor unions have a lot of different chapters here. You can name this one a group here. Chapter 2, we'll name it. The group email address will be Chapter 2. You can give it a group description if you'd like, or you don't have to. And then you can also adjust the access levels. Public is basically anybody in your domain can join, post messages, view the members list, and read the archives. It's a very open group. A lot of the times people like to use these as team emails, which is essentially only managers, somebody like the admin or the person they designate a manager of the group, can invite new members. But anybody in the domain can post messages. What that means is essentially email messages to this address. Team is, again, very popular, so you could choose to also allow anybody on the Internet to post messages, which means anybody outside of your domain could also send emails to chapter2@yourdomain.com. So when you create a new group, just go ahead and create the new group there. You can quickly and easily add people to this group here. We'll add Tina at Dido LLC. You can add Courtney and Brian. So maybe this is our group, our chapter here. Okay. And when they're done, you can add them as members, or you can choose to make them an owner, which is essentially like a manager here, and then click Add. How easy was that? They're in this group now, and then when I go back to my account here, which is right here, I can choose to compose an email message, and I can send a message to Chapter 2 at Dido LLC, and an email is sent out to those people that are part of the group. So that's a great way to efficiently communicate with large amounts of people or project-related or chapter-related groups. So also, when you are creating these groups, a couple of things you can do with Calendar. You can very easily create a calendar event. This is what a Google Calendar looks like right here. Quick preview. You can go ahead and edit the event, and then you can add them as guests. Chapter 2 at DidoLLC.com. You can add that group right here, as you can see, is now here. It lets you know who's a part of that group, and then it displays their names there. So when you want to invite a large amount of people to a calendar event, it can be done that way as well. And then also when you're creating a document like we're going to create right now, we'll share it out with these people, and they can work on this document with us right as in real time. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'll go ahead and open up my Google Drive. Again, Google Drive is also previously known as Google Docs, so a lot of you all might have been familiar with that term there. But I want to show you what real-time collaboration is and what it has to offer. And so easy to do this. Again, all of these items are available to you within Google Apps. So as you've seen, what we've done here is I've accessed my inbox. I have my inbox available, chat, contacts. I have my calendar, which is available here. You saw that. I also have my Drive, which is this, where I can upload documents that are non-Google Docs. I can create Google Documents, and all this is included in that $50 per user per year price range. So you see the value that we have here. So again, this is my Google Drive list here. These are documents that have been shared with me or I have created here. I want to show you how easy it is to create a document. So let me go ahead and select the Create button here. And then I have the option to choose a document, a presentation, which you've already seen, which is what we've been displaying here. You can create a spreadsheet, which is like Excel, a form, which is great because it allows you to gather information from large amounts of people. It's basically like a survey. You could do that, send it internally and externally. A drawing and also folders here you can create. Let me go ahead and create a document. Again, a new tab opens here. We'll title this here to a labor union demo. Click OK. So now you can see me just typing away here just like it's a regular document. I can make adjustments just like I could in any Microsoft document here. But I need input from other people. So let me go ahead and share this here. I'm going to share it with a colleague of mine. I'll share it with Megan at didoweb.com. I'll also share it with Dan at didoweb.com, and then I'll share it with myself. So you can see 3 people will now be able to access this. I can give these people editing rights, comment-only access, or view-only access, which is a really nice way to lock down this document if you don't want people editing away. In this case, we do. So I'm going to share and send. It's notifying me these people are outside of my domain. In this case, it's okay, but it's nice to have that prompt. You can see now that these people have access, and within just a second, you'll see how quickly they can access this document and begin collaborating in real time with me. And as we wait for those people to appear here, they will here. One other viewer is in. Megan is in the document, and now she can type away and begin to collaborate in real time with us. So, which is really nice. Megan is actually located in Colorado. I'm in Virginia. Dan is in the Boston area, and it's great because we're all right here. Okay. Now, if I wanted to share this document with that group like we mentioned earlier, I could share it with Chapter 2 at didoweb.com, select Share and Save. Again, you'll notice here, oh, I'm sorry, Dan E. That's who can come in here. Okay. All right, so perfect. People can get in here and collaborate in real time. You can see Dan is now in the document, and he's editing away here. A lot of great information and collaborative efforts can be done here within this document. It's really great. It's increased productivity within our organization and efficiency. It does it day in and day out. Okay? So as you can see, Google Apps offers a whole lot of key collaborative features and communication features, all for the great price point of $50 per user per year. You'll see how your organization can benefit if you decide to take a test drive. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it on back to Dan here so that he can wrap things up. And if you have any questions at the end of the session, we'll be more than happy to answer those for you. So thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Matt. So I hope that was able to shed a little bit more light on how Google Apps for Business is used by organizations around the world. I'd like to tell you a little bit more about Dido and our relationship with Google. Google Apps Business launched in April of 2007. 1 month later in May, Dido was founded as one of the original resellers of Google Apps. And the platform's grown exponentially since then. I think about 5,000 new companies sign up every day for Google Apps. Our team here at Dido is exclusively dedicated to Google Apps, so we don't focus on any other technologies unrelated to the platform. And we've helped companies ranging anywhere from 1 to over 20,000 users make a smooth transition to Google Apps. And of course, the companies we've helped have ranged from various industries. There's retail, manufacturing, organized labor, construction, education, you name it. So our primary services can be broken down into 4 categories. First is deployment. So we help companies migrate from a wide range of legacy systems. This can mean Microsoft Exchange 2003, 2007, 2010, Zimbra, Lotus Notes, GroupWise, you name it. Part of deployment includes integration. So nowadays, a lot of companies are instituting bring your own device policies and have users using numerous variations of cell phones, whether it's an iPhone, Android, BlackBerry. So we can help them easily integrate Google Apps with their mobile device. Change management. So one of the things we're really proud of here at Dido is our change management and training services. Technology is always changing, and regardless of whether you continue with a particular platform, updates will come, and users are going to have to be brought up to speed on new features and functionalities regardless. So Matt here, who presented the demo, is a member of our training team. So should you choose to move forward with Google Apps, Matt and the other members of our team can help bring your users up to speed on Google's technology and help them adopt the services effectively. Development. So, we briefly spoke about Google Sites. We can help you develop an intranet for your organization, or develop an external web page, whatever you need it to be. We're not only partners with Google, but Google's also a customer of ours. So a couple of years ago, Google came to us to build their Google Partner Connect intranet portal. It's used by over 6,000 partners worldwide and over 50,000 users. And we helped put that all together for them. And finally, support. So once you're fully deployed, we have support services we can offer. So, like we had mentioned, that Google's constantly innovating and adding new features and technologies. We can proactively engage you, so you'll know what they are before they come, and you'll be able to take full advantage of all the new features and functionality as they come along. So we can answer any of your questions along the way, set up screen shares and walk you through them, and like I said, we'll always let you know of any coming changes to the platform before they happen. So that's a little bit about us, but I'm sure as you've watched this, some different questions may have come up, so feel free to ask, and we'll be glad to help answer them.
We did have a question that came in. How much drive storage space is available? And that's a great question. Dan, would you like to answer that, or would you like me to answer that? Okay, I'll go ahead and answer it. When your Google Apps account, each user is actually allotted 5 gigabytes of data storage, and those are for non-Google Docs. So if you were to start an account, you would have to download Google Drive, which acts very much like a Dropbox type of program here. You're allowed to sync documents to a folder, which then sync to the cloud, and then you have the ability to access those in the cloud anywhere you have an internet connection and on any device. So 5 gigabytes is the standard drive storage space, and those are for all non-Google Docs. So you could create as many Google Docs as you wanted, and that includes spreadsheets, presentations, drawings, all of those items, and documents themselves. It's an unlimited amount there. But if you needed to store files that were non-Google Docs, by default, it's 5 gigabytes of data storage. But you do have the ability to purchase additional storage, and also admins can purchase storage on a domain level and then distribute that out to users that may be in need of additional storage. So there's a little bit of flexibility there, but again, 5 gigabytes of free data storage to start. Oh, you're very welcome.
And I just wanted to add one more thing on that. The storage threshold per user can go all the way up to 16 terabytes. So, one big advantage of the way Google has it set up is it kind of relates to the 80-20 rule. So in most organizations, 20 users are using up all the storage. So you don't actually have to buy additional storage for every single user, while most of them might not even be coming close. So, the first threshold above the 5 would be 25 gigs, and the monthly rate for that's $2.49 per month. So, it's very affordable should you reach that threshold. But like Matt had mentioned, all Google documents are unlimited storage.
We do have another question here. If we wanted to test out Google Apps, who could we contact? And Dan, what is the best way to contact somebody here at Dido if they want to test out Google Apps for their organization?
Sure. So I would be glad to help with that. You can either reach me via email. It's dan.edmondson@didoweb.com. It's EDMONSON. Or you can go directly to our website and either request information or request what we call a test drive that would allow you to sample Google Apps outside of your current domain.
Here's just a quick look at our website here too. Okay. Perfect. Okay, excellent. Well, I don't see any more questions at this time. Again, we do appreciate everybody coming in. Leah, thank you again for the introduction there and your kind words. Dan, if you'd like to close us out and say any last things, please feel free to do so. And again, it was a pleasure working with you all. We look forward to having the opportunity to work with you all in the future.
All right, well, I think that's about it. Thanks again, everyone, for joining us. You know, I know it was a lot to cover, and believe me, there's a lot more we could get into. And, you know, if you didn't have any questions right off the top of your head, maybe a couple pop into mind a little bit later on, definitely feel free to shoot me out an email, and I'll be glad to answer them. So, again, thanks for coming, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day.